It is now 5:31 PM, and I'm going to call the Recreation Commission meeting to order for Tuesday, May 6, 2025. Thank you, everyone, for coming. First on the agenda is the spending of the Recreation Commission budget for fiscal 2025. First up, we have our friends from the Pickleball Club to talk about events on the outdoor court. Can you guys just state your names for the record, please?
Okay, Donna Gear.
Jim Dushard.
Okay, welcome. So, last time we talked, it looked like you had made some progress, but needed to make a little more in order to kind of get the project done. Part of our budget timeline is the project has to be done by June 30th.
Okay, I have scheduled the fence project to be Memorial Week.
Okay.
Obviously, weather permitting.
Okay.
So we're just looking for you to see how much you are willing to give us, so we know how much else we need to get.
Okay. And how much is the project in total?
$6,365.
Okay. So we have about 2,500 to spend, I would say.
That'll be nice.
But we have other people who also would like some of that money. So, but they're scheduled and ready to go, and you'll be able to do it.
Yep.
Okay.
We just need to, get obviously something out to our members once I figure out exactly how much money more we need.
Okay. Great.
So there's a funding source for some of the project then?
Yes, we
Other
have
than
some
that.
money already,
Okay.
and then we'll get the rest, but obviously whatever you can give us helps.
Sure. Sure.
What, forgive me, I wasn't at the last meeting. What is the fence project? Is it just the corner? Corner and then some?
Base of the court,
Yeah,
and
it's
then
right
up
here.
the two sides.
So you grab, okay.
So, yeah, we didn't do the whole thing. Obviously, there's a fence back here, and this was gonna cost too much money, so we did up the sides 20 feet, and then we did all along the front. With a gate or possibly a staggered section there
Yeah.
instead of a gate. And that was approved by the selectmen as well, so.
Yeah, well, black?
Oh, yeah, black, that's what they asked for, so,
Yeah.
yep, it's in the quote, if you wanna see that.
No, that's okay. Just a,
That's what they specified, they didn't want the regular chain link, they wanted black, so
yeah, no, I think
that's what I told the contractor.
That's nice. Ultimately, it's municipal property. We want to,
Aesthetically
Make it as nice
pleasing.
as
Right,
possible.
so
Yeah.
it's like the one up around the soccer fields up on.
yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, this, it looks nice,
Mm.
it's neat and tidy.
Okay. Anyone else with any questions or comments? We heard quite a bit about it at the last meeting.
Sure.
All right. So if you guys want to hang out, you can. We're going to talk to the open space people next, and then we'll probably make our budgeting decisions by the end of
Okay.
the meeting. If that works for everybody.
All right, we'll stick around.
All right, great.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you. Open space folks, if you guys want to come up.
You have the prices.
Dick, why don't you come up just so the microphones catch you if...
Well, you gonna throw them at me?
So we're all on the same page. You guys could introduce yourselves for the record.
Okay, Sue Perkins, Open Space Committee.
Hello, Sue.
Dick Skinner, alternate member, Space Committee.
Oh, Dick. So, last time when we met, Dick provided us with a list of some potential things we'd be looking for funding on, and we talked about him maybe fine-tuning the list a little bit and giving us some priorities, and I guess we're just interested to hear where you're at.
Did you find them?
Go for it.
Yeah, go for it. Did I? No. Well, I think, we have a few ideas.
Okay.
It was recent, we went to a conservation meeting the other night, and they were saying, really all these conservation properties, you should survey them. That's major.
Okay.
Anyway, what we do is we pinpoint all the little turns and put the GPS, the longitude and latitude, so that sort of gives us an idea when we're within the whole territory, and most of them have trails or they're inaccessible.
Okay.
that's a big money. A bench, which we've made at the Mazinski property on Mumford Road.
Okay,
We made a place for a bench for units accessible to seniors. You can just kind of pull up to the entrance. You don't even have to park farther down. Pull right there and sit on a bench and watch it, river pour out of the tubes like it is today. It's be an interesting little excursion spot. And I don't know, you said you priced benches and any.
Well, they range from $150 to $1,000.
Right, so it really
How much
does,
gold plating do you
would
want?
be according to what we found and what we had to put into it and whatever. We get $300 a year. And, we spend it on getting signs and things like that for the property. We thought conservation took care of that, but they have enough to deal with. So we really have adopted that project.
okay.
Also, that Mazinski property needs a bridge on it as well. Which, those can vary. Be nice to get an Eagle Scout again out there to build another one like the other one on that property.
Great,
Yeah.
great.
And then we have signs and materials to make the signs. Dick built a tiny kiosk, not tiny, small kiosk that he bought an auger on his own and placed the kiosk on the Mazinski property entrance area. And so if we ever when we break through to other properties and make a place to park and a trail through it, which a lot of them are swamp or whatever, you get an access and it's just a river, So then we can build more kiosks, but at the moment I don't know that we really have a place for another one.
What's in the kiosk? Excuse me?
Just showing where the trails are and maybe different grades of difficulty and things like that, points of interest. Also with the bench, we needed to get a ground auger just to make sure that it's permanently.
So it doesn't wander.
The river takes it away.
Do you have an idea how much you'd like to spend on a bench, or what bench you'd want to get, or?
Yeah, I mean, you can find a bench anywhere between, like we said, $100 to $1,000, but some of them, like the ones around the common, they just have they're just 1-2 pieces of metal and posts into the ground
Sure.
and a bench on it,
Yeah.
There's a few places that we could put benches there, but, start with one and build up with that. So,
What we're also hoping to do is to put a kiosk out here at the entrance to the building. That little parking area that's not a parking area. We put it right there, we could do it for your recreation, our recreation, and it's a heavy traffic area.
Okay.
post different hikes or different games or different things that, it seems like we talked to the town administrator about it last week and he thought he's going to consider it.
Okay,
But it's, it could come from all the boards,
sure.
If everybody pitched in $100, then it would be plenty for a full-size kiosk. So, like the ones at the lake, Wall Lake or whatever. So that was about it. Was there any more? We have, I
You talked about, bird baths and
have birdhouses
bird
and stuff.
houses and
that,
stuff
yeah.
as well last time, if I remember.
Yeah, which, we'll put those up if they were available. And we've thought about Blackstone Valley Tech helping out with different things,
Sure.
but we thought we'd start here. They found some money and he's tracing it.
All right. Not sure who to direct this. I'm not as familiar with the Mozinski property as maybe others are. Is that a good spot for a bench? Does anyone?
It's out on the one on Mumford Street, correct?
Yeah.
Right, they just redid the parking lot. We asked the highway department, and they pulled out a boulder, a huge boulder out of the middle of the parking
Yeah.
lot. and pushed
They
it
put some
over.
reground down and made a nice parking area out there.
It's, so
And then
there's,
there's a trail that
Trail.
goes down to the brook, if I remember correctly, right?
Yeah, and we've made a loop that goes closer to the brook, so you can
So
get right there.
Where would you put the bench? Out in the trail somewhere, or?
I think right there, as you enter the trail,
Uh-huh.
there's an elevated property
Yeah.
piece to the left, and we've marked, delineated it already.
Okay.
How long's the trail?
How long?
How long, yeah.
I would say it's a mile. Would you say the trail's a mile? Maybe half, 3/4 of a mile.
So,
But it actually loops around, and then it gets to the river, the brook. And it's not the Mumford's on the left side. And so it's a tricky crossing, as he found out. His cell phone destroyed.
oh no.
And the Eagle Scout built one bridge over,
Yeah.
but we need to come back, unless we loop around and come back over the same bridge. Possibility.
So,
is that a popular spot on weekends and on summer days?
we don't really, it's a part of town I never pass by, but we do see people. Actually, there's a person that lives across Manchog Street, which theoretically, if you just walk down Manchog Street a little ways, you could cross over into the Mary Lynn Doobie Conservation Area. We try to link them. And at this Mumford one, you look over your shoulder, and that's the Sutton Douglas LLC development and the riverfront that they've given us along the Mumford that connects all the way over to Conservation Drive now. So there's a nice little greenway passageway through there. And you can cut across and go through a solar farm and whatever the deer do.
Yeah.
But, so,
Okay.
and, you know, there's actually a property that is on Mumford Street that is pretty much demolished. I think I wrote you about a
Yeah,
pipeline that
looking
goes
into that
through,
right now.
nips the corner of the
Mhm.
conservation
Yeah.
land, actually.
yeah.
It's probably, you know, empty. It's not noted anywhere.
John, did you walk around behind the house?
Which house is that there?
At 142 Manchog Street.
I did not, I haven't been there yet.
Yeah.
I've just been
It's-
crazy busy, but I will.
I
get
walked
there.
my daughter around the back of it to show her what could happen to her house
Yeah.
if she doesn't do anything.
Uh-huh.
It's just slipped right off.
Okay.
There's some interesting boats back there, too,
Really?
skulls and things like that. So I had actually Dick mentioned it to the Board of Health about the condition of the house.
Yeah. Yes, to planning and to the Matt who's left.
Matt Wojak.
No,
Not tonight.
the other Matt.
Oh, that left, I thought you said
Matt
who's
too.
left. But there was a garage across the street and it's
Yes,
been
it's been
demolished.
taken down,
Yeah.
from what I could see driving by
Yeah,
there.
from the front, the house, it's central chimney, and there's a slight sag. Go around behind it, there is no back wall. Toilets hanging out. and
Yeah,
space.
that'd be something for community development or one of those boards, but
Okay.
no, that's,
Yeah.
If we did do a bench, do you have somebody to install it, or do we have to pay for somebody to do that as well?
Volunteer labor.
Okay,
She runs a tough ship.
Yeah. I bring my cell phone when I walk with him, it goes down every time.
okay.
Yeah.
Does anyone else have any other questions or comments?
Would it have to be installed before June, is that what we talked about?
yes,
Okay, I just wanted to confirm.
I think it would just have to be bought,
purchased,
Just
I
purchased.
guess.
Okay,
purchased,
so purchased.
purchased before June 30th, I think.
Before June 30th.
Right.
Okay. I also, this is the open space and recreation plan that
Yep.
we worked on for 2 years, or a
Okay.
year and a half, or a year, and it took them another year to approve it. These are all the things that are recommended to the recreation department to do. I mean, they're shared things, you know, it's,
Yes, we're not exactly the recreation departments, as I see it says, stall bathroom facilities. I don't know if any of us
Yeah.
have the
Well,
skills to do it, but
it's-
we will take a peek at it.
right, it's things that need updated. that, Martin Road, for instance.
Yeah. Yep. Okay,
All right,
all right.
thank you.
Thank you very much. Any questions?
Good luck with your decisions. Take care. Next victims.
So the final thing on the list there would be the $125.50 for the annual maintenance on the fire extinguishers at the recreation recreation properties. So that's something we kind of decided we do, so maybe if I could have a motion that we're going to improve.
So
Okay.
move.
Second.
Okay. That's going to
Impact fire.
Impact Fire for $125.50. Anybody have any questions or comments?
It's just an annual thing that we have to do in all the town buildings.
Which was that?
$125.50. All in favor? Aye. That's unanimous. So that leaves us, still approximately, say $2,400. Anyone have any thoughts on, Dick and Sue, if you want to hang around here for about 5 minutes, you'll probably
Okay.
find out whether or not you're funded.
Is Nick looking for something?
No, Nick's here to talk about their field renovations at Soldiers. He got his money last year.
We'll come back in a few.
Is our starting number 2,500?
It's all ballpark because we have 2,400 for the lights. We usually don't spend quite that much, and we've spent 1,200 so far. Period 10 of 2025, so that's May. So we still have 2 or 3
There'll be
bills
heavy
left.
months.
Heavy months, yeah. So I would say we have 2,400 left to spend. I would say, just to use round numbers.
Yeah.
Not including the fire?
I started at 2,500 and assume the fire's $100.
Alright, so I'm gonna
just-
go with 2375.
Okay, 2375.
Got an accountant in the house.
Yes, all right.
You do not.
I've never known you to be so precise, but okay. I don't have any idea how much, I assume a bench that's gonna withstand the outdoors is gonna be worth more than $100.
I would say somewhere around $500, to be honest with you.
Could do it
To be
right.
on the- To be on the safe side, and you're gonna do it, let's get a nice heavy-duty bench that's good, in my opinion, gonna last. You know,
Right, that does the property justice.
it's a nice area up there. It's the water that drains from the Whiting Reservoir heading down towards the Mumpet.
Okay. And do we think that 500 would include whatever security bolts and,
I would say,
yeah,
I would say,
okay.
yeah.
As before, I guess, is there anything else anyone has any consideration on spending funds on? I tried to stay away a little this year. The baseball and soccer programs got
Yep.
it's part of the state grant last year, it got some
Yep.
really decent funding from us, so I was trying to look at other areas for this time around. So maybe I'd propose we give 500 to the open space for the bench, and then 1,900 to the pickleball club for the outdoor fence. Does that,
I'm
I agree.
perfectly fine with that.
Okay with that.
all right? If anyone else doesn't have any other questions, I'd be looking for a motion. Let's do 2 separate motions. The first motion would be to spend $1,900 on the fence for the pickleball court.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by John, seconded by Hannah. Questions, comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Correct, unanimous. And then $500 for a bench on the Mozinski property
Mumford Street.
on Memphis Street. Thank you, John.
So moved.
Motion made by John, seconded by Tim. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, unanimous. So, there you go. So, folks, 19,500 for the bench, 1,900 for, just make sure the invoices are sent here to the Recreation Commission. You probably have to have Donna, you'll probably have to have them do 2 different invoices, one
I'll
for
have them
us.
split it,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay,
Okay, fair
all right.
enough.
All right.
All right, thank you very much, I appreciate it.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, have a good evening.
You too.
Too.
Nick, would you like to join us? I read a page and a half, I'm up to like $1 million or something like that.
I like how you wear the shirt.
Wow.
Yes, I have one of those, yeah. I have one of those, one of my favorites.
I think we need more of them, because I've been getting asked, where can I buy one?
Is that right?
Yeah, Tim was the one that designed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did them, but they didn't go
$75
off. They didn't go as well as I thought. And,
Really?
Really?
Some kids wore them, other kids
Yeah.
not so much. I love it. I think it's great.
I didn't get offered one, so.
I didn't make
There
them.
should be no production one.
No? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's held up. It looks good.
Yeah.
I should find mine.
Yeah.
So you want to come talk about some renovations at
Yeah.
Soldiers?
So, we've been trying to figure out how we replace the plywood or repair the walls that go all the way around, and then paint and work through that whole process. So, Andrew DeFalco, who's a handyman, construction guy, younger guy, we had come down and I said, hey, take a look, see what you think. And he was the first person that, volunteered themselves to even undertake the feat.
Yeah.
Because volunteer base, that's gonna be, it's been tough, to get a volunteer base to do the plywood work and paint. Paint, I think I could sell a little bit easier, but the plywood work, another story. So Andrew came down, I said, all right, write something up, tell me how much you think. So he came up with a day rate of $385 a day. He thought he would need about 3 days to do the plywood. I thought that's aggressive.
That's aggressive, I think so too. This body's not doing it.
He said he would throw plywood in the back of his truck and just kind of go around, and places where there was extreme rot, he would cut out, and then, but his master plan would be just to go over existing, if there's a decent enough lip to come under, to marry it up with the lip that's there, and then cut the bottoms to size up correctly. But for locations that really need to be ripped out, he'll rip it out. So minimize the debris he's gonna create with going over with the screws we bought and then the plywood. Then he said he'd paint. He said 2 to 3 days to paint. So give him a buffer of a day for 7 days, that was around $26.95, for him to do the work. And that's kind of taking his time. If he finds a week to just commit to it, just go down there and knock it out. I said I kind of put it out there and see what the thought was with you guys here. If there was dedicated funds for improvements down there, if that's something we could work towards. And this is only the one estimate we've gotten.
Yep.
So if this was something we could consider, maybe I'd go out and find another couple of people to
We'll
say.
never find anyone for that kind of money.
I don't think so either. When he texted me that price, I just was like, all right, maybe we'll just pay it out of DYBSL to get the job done. But if there's dedicated money for improvements down there, that would make a huge difference, improving that wall system. So I figured, what's your thoughts? Get your thoughts first.
So there is no dedicated money, right? There was the one-time grant last year, which we
Yeah.
put forward towards that.
Not
and
that
other
I'm
things.
aware of
Not
anything.
that I'm aware of. So,
Well, the Cubes gave us some money that's sitting in an account, my understanding.
Yeah, I'm not sure how
The next
that,
line is the setup.
what the process is,
Yeah, I
if
don't-
that's the
I
case.
don't know, to be honest.
so that would be essentially our entire budget for next year.
Yes.
So I don't think we
Yeah.
could spend, could we,
Maybe give something.
yes, could we give
After
500
July one.
to, 500 to $1,000 maybe? I'm just
Okay.
spitballing. If the rest of the group disagrees, and that's fine, but,
Yeah. Then we can bring the rest to DYBSL to work through.
yeah.
Yeah, and as long as the rot and stuff is taken away, I'm good with doing it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not just cover up the rot. you know.
No, we don't want to.
No,
The feeling was if we took all the panels down, maybe we'd be opening up ourselves to a lot more in some areas,
Mhm.
depending upon what's behind there.
Yeah, this isn't a long-term fix. This gets
No.
10 years or so.
I think this gets us right. That's what I was
but,
thinking.
in the meantime, something's gotta be done, so,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, something's bad. It looks bad.
Yeah.
So this would solve us for a 10-year gap to think of what's next. To keep that look, right? If what's next is if the look doesn't matter anymore, we rip it down and we just do fencing, that is gonna be appropriate for 50 years.
Right.
If it's a long-term situation. For now, we have the plywood.
Did our friends from the EFS movie leave us any money?
No, no.
It's the same thing. Like,
They were supposed to.
He's too busy traveling the world.
Hey, you can buy it for $7.99 right now.
Yeah.
So the thought was, this early on, when they didn't know what this movie was gonna be, that if it were successful and all the people that invested in it made money, that there might be a contribution or donation to the town, but there was no, we weren't in a position, they weren't in a position to really beat them up. It was either allow them the use of our facility or not. There was no financial consideration to it.
Considering it lasted in the movie theaters about a week and a half, I don't think we could count on that going forward then. Okay.
No, I mean, if this could be a fall project,
Yeah.
you know, for Andrew to do, and, you know, by that time, I think DYBSL, I think we'll have an idea of what we have that we can
Mhm.
push towards the project.
Sure.
We'll have a better picture of that too, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll ballpark that and come back in the fall and we can approve it officially if that's what the
Sounds
members
good.
want to do.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Anything else, Mr. Mason?
No, the netting went up the other day.
Great.
We just got a little bit more securing to do up top with some carabiners, but
Fantastic.
that was an improvement on that left field area, so. Yeah, the next big project is doing some leveling. We have 1/4 $42,000, which is,
Whoa.
yeah, just for the small field, so prices are going up every year.
Mhm.
So we're about, I think, halfway there. That would be something, if there was a significant influx of something, then we'd put that proposal over to.
Okay.
How was the field playing? Was it dangerous?
The small field's getting to that point on the first and third baselines just because of the rise, you know, when the kids run the corner. Yeah. Big field's manageable right now. It's just that third base situation.
Who was playing on the big field on Sunday? Was that AU?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So we scaled them back to just Sundays.
I drove by and somebody was playing on there.
Yeah. And then the town program is doing more on the weekends where they wanted it, so they're doing it.
Great.
Thank you.
All right.
All right. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Yeah, nice win the other day.
Yes.
Two in a row, right? Yeah.
Moving on up.
That's
Now, boy.
peaking at the right time.
All right, number 3, set up the Recreation Commission donation fund. So, I am moving on from the basketball program, and the basketball program has some excess funding that I would like to move over to the Recreation Commission. So, ideally, still working with Gene on the absolute language, but it'd be used basically for the gym down there, any improvements, any cleanings, or whatever they want to do. Be approved by us, but would be set up to help basketball program, pickleball club, anywhere for future improvements down there. That's a wonderful facility and a huge money saver for the program, basketball program, and you know, with the excess funds we've generated over past years with tournaments and stuff, I'd like to see that go towards that. So. We need to set up a donation fund according to Gene to do that, so I'll be looking for a motion to set up a donation fund for the Recreation Commission.
I'll move.
Second.
Motion made by John, seconded by Jen. Are there any questions?
Just a comment, and that would be, Ryan, you have put your heart and soul into the basketball program for a great number of years, and I don't know how you're authorized to pull money from the basketball program to give it to the town, but kudos to you for the time and energy spent putting together a program that every kid that went through it enjoyed, even mine.
I appreciate that, Tim. I appreciate that. Okay, all in favor of the motion? Aye. Unanimous. I did not get a chance for any meeting minutes, so we will skip those for now. Do we have any topics not reasonably anticipated 48 hours in advance of the meeting?
Just make sure we all sign the other bill that's sitting up there. You already have it? Easy go. I think I
There's
signed it,
two-
and Tim signed it, I think one of you signed it.
All set, I will drop that off with Gene on my way out. If not, it is now 6:03. I'd be looking for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Seconded.
Motion made by John, seconded by Jen. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, everybody.